Hi, my name is Matt McLeod, and today I want to talk with you about the power of who over do. There was a quote that had been so impactful on me for much of my life growing up. And it's a quote by Sir Edmund Hillary, and he said this: "People do not decide to become extraordinary, they decide to accomplish extraordinary things." And I still believe in the power of that quote. And I know that Edmund Hillary meant really, really well when he said it, but I actually would challenge it a little bit. When he says people do not decide to become extraordinary, they decide to accomplish extraordinary things, I think sometimes we can get our focus a little bit off if it's more about the things that we do than who we are as a person. You see, in our culture today, we attach our identity so often to what we do instead of who we are. Take myself for an example. My name to thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of people all across the world is Coach Matt. You see, I've spent the last 15 years as a high school basketball coach, also traveling and touring all over the world teaching the game of basketball. And so when so often I'm introduced as Coach Matt, almost as those two words were together and attached. And there's nothing wrong with having your name attached to a great vocation, but I would say this: when we attach our identity to a particular vocation, we can get in trouble. You see, we can get stuck in a box where our value, the value of our life, is determined by our daily successes or our daily failures. You know, it's easy to live out in the game of basketball or any sports world that we coach in. And because of really quick, did you win or did you lose? Did you score more or did you score less? What's your record this year versus your record last year? And all of a sudden, do and who are equal. They're the same thing. But if we really want to accomplish extraordinary things with our life and unlock all of the greatness that's inside of us, we got to change the way we view it just a little bit. Instead of thinking do equals who, no, it's who over do. Like many others, I had believed for such a long time that my vocation and my calling were synonymous. And what I did on a daily basis defined who I am. And yet, this entire time, my focus would continually shift from thing to thing. I would always be frustrated. I would never feel fulfilled. And it really wasn't until I had this epiphany moment when I flipped the script and put the who over the do that I began to actually level up and live out my best self. Right? It's been a process, like it is for any of us. And really through this process, I began to redefine success in my life. And these are the 3 key steps I found to help me keep my who over my do every single day. The first one is this: commit to your focus. Even when we focus on the right things, if we focus on them at the wrong times, they're still the wrong things. Early in my coaching career, I found some success early on and won a lot of basketball games. And every spring, I would apply for every job out there. I mean, rarely a week went by that I didn't just apply for jobs, but didn't apply for 20 jobs or 30 jobs. And every day I would check multiple websites and try to figure out where can I level up? Where can I go to a bigger school? Where can I have a larger influence, a large plan? And I was just doing almost just to prove to myself that I was a great coach. Hey, if I get offered the job, I don't even want that job, but if I get offered that job, that means I know how great I really am. And while I was doing that, what I didn't realize was I was missing out on an incredible opportunity. See, I was spending hours and hours and hours putting resumes together, filling out questionnaires, spending time in interviews when I wasn't actually bettering myself. Yeah, I was talking about myself and what I did, but who I was staying the same every single day. And it wasn't until several years later that I looked back and I realized, man, I've been coaching the same way. I've been showing up in the same way for year upon year upon year because my focus was off. But as we commit to our focus, meaning committing to being focused on who we are over what we do on a daily basis, it doesn't just mean like it's gonna be perfect. It doesn't mean we won't miss the mark at times, because there's always gonna be days that we mess up. There's always gonna be days that we fall short. But when we make a mistake, what special people do is they adjust. When they miss the mark, they aim again. Commit to your focus. The second thing is this: embrace your frustrations. I know I said it. Embrace your frustrations. We all know life is frustrating. Frustrating moments, frustrating situations, frustrating years. But what I've learned over the course of my life is to actually love these moments, to embrace these moments, because these are the moments we get to decide who we actually want to be. So the next time life gets frustrating for you, I hope you lean in, because that's when you find these unscripted moments in life that truly allow you to be the best who that you're called to be. I think a great example of that is Steph Curry. When the Golden State Warriors were playing the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals a couple years ago, Steph had a shot at the end of Game 6 to basically force a Game 7, and he missed. Game ended, Raptors win the World Championship, Warriors season's done. And the Warriors could have made a lot of excuses that year. KD was out, Klay Thompson was out, they were a depleted roster. But yet, in the post-game interview, Steph looked at the interviewers, and when they asked Steph, what would you do differently? What could you have done over again that moment? He said, nothing. He said, I got a great look at the basket. In fact, when the ball came out of my fingertips, oh, it felt so good. He said, anytime the game is on the line, I'll live with that shot. He said, yeah, I missed this time, but I'm going to make it next time. And what's crazy is just a couple minutes later, his head coach, Steve Kerr, said almost the exact same thing without hearing Steph's response. See, here's what special people like those two individuals understand. No feeling is final. The frustrations, the sadness, the bitterness, the anger, it's not final. But it's only when we commit to our focus and we embrace those frustrations can we begin to move down that road to understanding who I am is more important than what we do. And the third and final thing we're going to talk about is pursue true fulfillment. Pursue true fulfillment. And in my experience, it's actually the most important and at the same time the most difficult step in this process of who overdo. Because so many of us tether our vocation to our calling, to our purpose, to our dreams, to our identity. The pursuit of fulfillment is often misguided in life, right? We think of a specific vocation as a must-do to be fulfilled each and every day. When I was in college, I actually changed my major 5 times. I'd go into one major for 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, this is it. Yes, I'm called to this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to be great at it. And then I wouldn't like a class, or I wouldn't like a teacher, or something would rub me the wrong way. And so I'd go to my advisor and I would change. And then a semester later, I'd come in and change again. And oh man, I still feel sorry to her for this day. I think there was a point where she would see me coming and she would just close the door and lock it and act like she wasn't there because I was so indecisive in what I did. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to pursue because I thought that my do would lead to who I was. There's a thought that I love from Doc Rivers. One time he was talking to his team, said, listen, you can't all be the star on this team, but you can all star in your role. If we want to find true success in life and truly be extraordinary, we got to listen to Doc. Star in your role. Because when we find purpose in our life based upon who we are and not merely what we do we score? Do we rebound? Do we have assists? No. Who am I? I help my team win. When we find that, that's when true fulfillment will follow. And now vocation is important. Like, don't get me wrong. Because often it is through our vocation that we're able to impact change in lives in radical ways. But don't let the size of what you do affect the importance of the impact of who you are has each and every day. Don't be that person I was for so long. Don't focus on vocation over who you are on a daily basis. Instead, determine who it is you want to be, commit to your focus, embrace those frustrations, and then pursue your true fulfillment. When we do those 3 things and we begin to live out this concept of who overdo, that is where the extraordinary is found. Who overdo.